The morning sun filtered through the kitchen curtains as Gloria stirred her coffee, enjoying the rare quiet moment before another busy day at her catering business. Her husband Roland had left his phone on the counter again, something that usually annoyed her but today barely registered. She was mentally planning the menu for the Henderson wedding when the phone buzzed with an incoming call. The screen showed no name, just a number she didn't recognize. Gloria glanced toward the stairs where Roland was still getting ready for work. The phone kept ringing and she figured it might be important, maybe a work emergency or family matter. "Hello?" she answered, expecting to hear a stranger's voice asking for Roland. Instead, a familiar voice whispered softly, intimately, "Good morning, baby. I love you so much. I can't wait to see you today." Gloria's coffee cup slipped from her other hand, crashing to the floor and shattering into pieces. The voice belonged to her Aunt Bethany, her mother's younger sister, the woman who had helped raise her, who had been at her wedding, who she trusted with her deepest secrets. "I said I love you, Roland," Bethany's voice continued through the phone, unaware that Gloria was listening. "Are you there? I know you have to be careful with Gloria around, but I need to hear your voice." Gloria's hand trembled as she held the phone. 20 years of marriage, 15 years of loving her aunt like a second mother, and this was what she got in return. The betrayal cut so deep she could barely breathe. "Roland?" Bethany's voice grew concerned. "Hello?" Gloria ended the call without saying a word. She stood in her kitchen, surrounded by broken ceramic and spilled coffee, feeling like her entire world had just crumbled around her feet. The woman who had taught her how to braid her hair, who had given her advice about men, who had celebrated every milestone in her life, that same woman was sleeping with her husband. Footsteps on the stairs snapped Gloria back to reality. She quickly grabbed paper towels and started cleaning up the mess, her mind racing. Roland appeared in the doorway, adjusting his tie. "Morning, babe," he said cheerfully, walking over to give her a quick kiss on the cheek. "You're up early today." Gloria forced herself to smile, though her heart was pounding so hard she was sure he could hear it. Just wanted to get a head start on planning the Henderson wedding. Roland picked up his phone from the counter and Gloria watched his face carefully. Did he notice the missed call? Did he realize someone else had answered? "Oh, I missed a call," he said casually, checking the screen. "Probably work stuff. I'll call them back later." He pocketed the phone and grabbed his coffee mug, acting completely normal. Acting like he hadn't been carrying on an affair with his wife's aunt for who knew how long. "What time will you be home tonight?" Gloria asked, proud of how steady her voice sounded. "Usual time, around 6. Bethany called yesterday and wanted to know if we could come to dinner this weekend. I told her I'd check with you first." The casual way he said her aunt's name made Gloria's stomach turn. He was scheduling family dinners while sleeping with Bethany behind her back. The audacity of it all was breathtaking. "Sure, that sounds nice," Gloria managed to say. Roland kissed her goodbye and headed for the garage. As soon as she heard his car pull out of the driveway, Gloria sank into a kitchen chair and let the tears fall. 20 years of marriage. 20 years of building a life together, of trusting him completely, of never once suspecting he could betray her like this. And Bethany. Sweet, loving Aunt Bethany, who had been there for every important moment in Gloria's life. The woman who had helped her pick out her wedding dress, who had held her hand during her miscarriages, who had celebrated every success of her catering business. How long had this been going on? How many family gatherings had they sat through, pretending to be nothing more than relatives while carrying on their sick affair? Gloria wiped her eyes and looked around her kitchen, the heart of both her home and her successful business. She had built something beautiful here, something she was proud of. She wasn't going to let two cheaters destroy everything she had worked for. But she also wasn't going to confront them right away. No, that would be too easy, too quick. They had been playing her for a fool, and now it was time to turn the tables. If they wanted to play games, Gloria would show them how a real player operated. She pulled out her own phone and started making notes. Today was Monday, October 15th. The day her old life ended and her new one began. The day she stopped being a victim and started being a woman with a plan. Roland and Bethany had made one critical mistake: they had underestimated her. They saw her as the sweet, trusting wife and niece who would never suspect anything. They had no idea that the woman who had built a successful business from nothing, who had fought for every client and every dollar, was not someone you wanted as an enemy. Gloria cleaned up the rest of the coffee mess and got ready for work. She had a catering business to run, evidence to gather, and a revenge to plan. Her life was about to get very interesting. Gloria spent the next week in a strange state of hyper-awareness, watching her husband's every move while maintaining the facade of normalcy. It was exhausting but also eye-opening. Once she knew what to look for, the signs of his affair were everywhere. The way Roland's phone was always face down on surfaces. How he had started taking longer showers and paying more attention to his appearance. The mysterious work meetings that ran late on evenings when Bethany claimed to be busy with her book club. The new cologne he had bought without mentioning it to Gloria. On Thursday evening, Gloria was in her office working on invoices when she heard Roland talking quietly on the phone upstairs. She crept to the bottom of the staircase and listened. "I know, baby, I miss you too," she heard him say. "Gloria's been working late on some big catering job, so I might be able to come over for an hour tomorrow night." Gloria's hands clenched into fists. Her big catering job was the Henderson wedding, a project she had been talking about for weeks, one that would bring in enough money to finally renovate their kitchen. Roland was using her success as cover for his cheating. "Yeah, she trusts you completely," Roland continued. "She has no idea. Sometimes I think you know her better than I do." That last comment made Gloria sick to her stomach. Bethany did know her well enough to know exactly how to betray her most effectively. Friday morning, Gloria made a decision. She called her assistant, Monica, and asked her to handle the weekend wedding setup. "Are you feeling okay, Mrs. Patterson?" Monica asked with concern. Gloria never missed big events. "I'm fine, just need to take care of some personal business." "You've got this handled perfectly." Instead of going to work, Gloria parked down the street from Roland's office and waited. At 11:30 a.m. he came out of the building and got in his car. Gloria followed at a safe distance, her heart pounding as she realized she was about to see the full extent of his betrayal with her own eyes. Roland drove to the Riverside Mall and parked outside Macy's. Gloria watched from across the parking lot as her Aunt Bethany approached his car. Even from a distance, the intimacy between them was obvious. Bethany leaned into the driver's window and they kissed, not a family peck, but a deep, romantic kiss that made Gloria want to throw up. They went into the mall together, holding hands like teenagers. Gloria followed them inside, staying far enough back to avoid being seen. She watched them browse jewelry together, watched Roland buy Bethany an expensive necklace, watched them have lunch at the little cafe where Gloria and Roland had gone on their first date 21 years ago. The cruelty of that choice, taking his mistress to their special place, was like a punch to the gut. But Gloria forced herself to stay calm and keep observing. She took photos with her phone, careful to capture their faces clearly together. When they were getting ready to leave, Gloria heard Bethany say, "I can't wait for tomorrow night. Gloria will be so tired from that wedding, she'll probably go straight to bed." "Perfect," Roland replied. "I'll tell her I'm going to watch the game at Mike's house." Gloria hurried back to her car and waited for them to leave separately. Bethany got in her silver Honda and drove away first, then Roland returned to work. Gloria sat in her car for 10 minutes, processing what she had just witnessed. 8 months. That's how long this had been going on, based on when Bethany had started her book club and Roland had begun his late work meetings. 8 months of lies, 8 months of family dinners where they sat across from each other pretending to be nothing more than in-laws, 8 months of Gloria planning her life around their deception. That evening, Roland came home with flowers, grocery store flowers, nothing special. "What's the occasion?" Gloria asked, accepting them with a smile that felt like it might crack her face. "Just thought my beautiful wife deserved flowers," he said, kissing her forehead. "How did the wedding prep go today?" "Really well. Monica handled most of it. I'm feeling confident about tomorrow." "Good. I was thinking I might go watch the game at Mike's tomorrow night after you get home. Give you some quiet time to recover." There was the lie delivered so smoothly, so convincingly. If Gloria hadn't seen him with Bethany that afternoon, she might have thought it was sweet that he was giving her space to rest. "That sounds perfect," she said. "I'll probably be exhausted anyway." That night, after Roland fell asleep, Gloria lay awake planning her next moves. She needed more evidence, not just photos but documentation of their lies, proof of how long this had been going on, and most importantly, evidence of how they had been using and manipulating her. She thought about all the family events over the past 8 months. Bethany had been at every single one, often arriving early to help Gloria with preparations, and staying late to clean up. Had she been gathering information about Gloria's schedule? Reporting back to Roland about when the coast would be clear for their meetings? Gloria remembered her birthday dinner in July. Bethany had insisted on choosing the restaurant, claiming she knew Gloria's favorite type of cuisine. But they had ended up at a steakhouse, Roland's favorite, not Gloria's. At the time, Gloria had just assumed her aunt had gotten confused. Now she realized Bethany had been planning a dinner that would make Roland happy, not Gloria. The more Gloria thought about it, the more pieces fell into place. Bethany's sudden interest in Gloria's business, asking detailed questions about her schedule and clients. The way she had started dressing differently, younger, more stylish. How she had lost weight and started wearing makeup to family gatherings. All of it had been for Roland. Every single thing. As dawn broke through the bedroom windows, Gloria made herself a promise. She would document everything. Every lie, every manipulation, every moment they thought they were clever. And when she was ready, she would destroy them both so thoroughly that they would wish they had never been born. But first, she had a wedding to cater. Even in the middle of her personal crisis, Gloria Patterson was a professional. Saturday evening, after successfully catering the Henderson wedding, Gloria sat in her car outside the community center where her nephew Tyler was having his graduation party. She was exhausted from the day's work, but she had a job to do. Roland thought she would be home sleeping, which meant he was probably with Bethany right now. Gloria's phone buzzed with a text from her sister Denise. "Where are you? Tyler keeps asking for Aunt Gloria." She quickly typed back, "Sorry, wedding ran late. We'll be there in 5 minutes." As she walked into the party, Gloria was struck by how many family members were their cousins, aunts, uncles, family friends. Everyone except Bethany, who had texted Denise earlier claiming she had a migraine. Gloria. Her mother Helen rushed over with a concerned look. "Denise said you were working late. You look tired, honey." "I'm okay, Mom. Just a long day." "Where's Bethany? I thought she'd be here." "Poor thing has one of her bad headaches again. She's been getting them a lot lately. I'm worried about her." Gloria's cousin Rita overheard and joined the conversation. "Bethany's been having those headaches every weekend for months now. Always seems to happen when there's a family event." "Really?" Gloria asked, though she already knew the answer. "How long has that been going on?" "Since around February, I think," Rita said. "Remember Easter? She missed that too because of a headache. And your birthday dinner, Tyler's spring concert, Mom's retirement party. Always something." Gloria's mother nodded sadly. "I keep telling her to see a doctor, but she insists they're just stress headaches from work." As the evening went on, Gloria casually brought up Bethany's absences with different family members, painting a clear picture of the pattern. February through October, 8 months of convenient headaches and mysterious illnesses that kept Bethany away from family events where she might be expected to spend time with Gloria and Roland together. Uncle Jerome was particularly helpful without realizing it. "I ran into Bethany at the movie theater a few weeks ago," he mentioned while they were getting cake. "She was with some man I didn't recognize. I waved, but I don't think she saw me. She seemed real focused on her date." Gloria's heart raced, but she kept her voice casual. "Oh really? Good for her. She's been single for so long. What did the guy look like?" "Tall, brown skin, kind of looked familiar, but I couldn't place him. They were holding hands, so it seemed serious. I'm glad she's finally dating again after that divorce." Gloria nodded and smiled, but inside she was taking notes. The timeline fit perfectly with one of Roland's supposed work dinners from last month. As she was leaving the party, Denise walked her to the car. "I'm worried about you, Gloria. You seem distracted lately. Is everything okay with you and Roland?" For a moment, Gloria considered telling her sister everything. But she wasn't ready yet. She needed more evidence, more ammunition. "We're fine," she lied. "Just busy with work stuff." "Well, make sure you're taking care of yourself. And tell Roland I said hi. We hardly see him at family events anymore." Another piece of the puzzle clicked into place. Roland had been avoiding family gatherings too, claiming work conflicts or feeling sick. Gloria had been going to most events alone for months, and everyone had just assumed he was busy with his job. Sunday morning, Gloria decided to test her theory. She called Bethany, knowing Roland was at his weekly basketball game. "Hey Aunt Beth. How's your head feeling?" "Oh, much better, thank you, sweetie. Those headaches just knocked me out completely. I was thinking we could have lunch this week, just the two of us. It feels like we haven't had girl time in forever." There was a long pause. This week is really busy for me. Work stuff. Maybe next month." "What kind of work stuff? I thought you said your schedule was pretty light right now." Another pause. "Well, it's complicated. New projects coming up. You know how it is." Gloria knew exactly how it was. Bethany was lying just like Roland, and they were both terrible at it. "Of course. Rain check then. But I miss you, Aunt Beth. We used to talk all the time." "I miss you too, honey. Things will calm down soon, I promise." After hanging up, Gloria sat in her kitchen and made a list of all the lies she had uncovered in just one weekend. Bethany's fake headaches coinciding with family events. Roland's work conflicts that weren't real. Their separate busy schedules that somehow left them time for secret dates. The way they had been isolating Gloria from both her husband and her aunt gradually, making her feel like everyone was just busy when really they were busy with each other. The betrayal was even deeper than she had initially realized. They hadn't just been having an affair, they had been systematically removing themselves from Gloria's life while maintaining the pretense of caring about her. They had been making her feel alone and disconnected from her own family. But the worst part was how they had used her love against her. Every time Gloria had worried about Bethany's health, every time she had covered for Roland's absence at family events, every time she had made excuses for their behavior to other family members, she had been helping them maintain their affair. They had turned her into an accomplice in her own betrayal. Gloria looked at her list and smiled grimly. She was building quite a case. But she needed more than just evidence of lies. She needed proof of how they had been using her, manipulating her, and stealing from her. It was time to dig deeper into their finances. Monday morning, Gloria called in sick to her own business, something she never did, and spent the day going through financial records. What she found made her physically ill. Starting in March, there had been mysterious withdrawals from their joint savings account. Small amounts at first, $200 here, $300 there. By summer, Roland was withdrawing $500 to $800 at a time, always on days when Gloria was busy with large catering events. Gloria pulled up their credit card statements and found charges she didn't remember making. Expensive dinners at restaurants she had never been to. Hotel rooms booked during times when Roland claimed to be working late. Jewelry purchases from stores Gloria had never visited. The hotel charges were particularly painful. Roland had been taking Bethany to the same upscale hotel where he and Gloria had spent their wedding night 15 years ago. Room 1247. Gloria remembered the number because it had been special to them. Now Roland was booking the same room for his affair with her aunt. Gloria calculated the total amount of money Roland had spent on his affair over the past 8 months. $12,847. Nearly $13,000 of their money she had earned through 16-hour days and weekend weddings, money they had been saving for their retirement and for the kitchen renovation she had been planning. But the financial betrayal went deeper than just the money Roland had stolen. Gloria discovered that he had been sharing information about her business with Bethany. Her client lists, her pricing strategies, her upcoming events, all of it was documented in emails between Roland and Bethany that he had left saved on their shared computer. The emails made Gloria's blood boil. From Roland Patterson to Bethany Mitchell. Subject: Gloria's schedule. Gloria has 3 big events this weekend, so she'll be exhausted Sunday night. Perfect time for us to have dinner at your place. From Bethany Mitchell to Roland Patterson. Subject: business idea. I've been thinking about what you said about Gloria's pricing. If I started my own catering business, I could undercut her by 20% and still make a good profit. She's charging way too much for simple events. From Roland Patterson to Bethany Mitchell. Subject: business idea. Gloria's biggest weakness is that she's too nice. She lets clients walk all over her. You could definitely steal some of her customers by being more aggressive with marketing. Gloria stared at the screen, unable to believe what she was reading. Not only was her husband cheating on her with her aunt, but they were planning to destroy her business too. Bethany was going to use all of Gloria's trade secrets, client contacts, and pricing information to become her direct competition. There were dozens of emails like this going back months. Roland sharing Gloria's business plans, discussing her weaknesses, helping Bethany plan how to steal her clients. They had been treating Gloria's success like their personal treasure chest, taking her money for their affair and planning to take her livelihood too. The cruelest part was how they talked about her in the emails. Roland described Gloria as clueless and too trusting. Bethany called her sweet but naive. They mocked her work ethic, calling her obsessed with perfection, and joking about how easy it was to lie to her because she always believes the best in people. Gloria printed every single email, every bank statement, every credit card charge. She made copies of everything and stored them in a safe deposit box she opened at a different bank. Whatever happened next, she would have proof of exactly what they had done to her. That evening, Roland came home with Chinese takeout and a guilty smile. "Thought you might be too tired to cook after being sick today," he said, setting the bags on the counter. "That's thoughtful," Gloria said, watching him carefully. "How was your day?" "Busy. Mike wants to know if we can do guys' night this Thursday instead of tomorrow. Some work thing came up for him." Another lie. Gloria was starting to wonder if Roland even had a friend named Mike, or if that was just his standard excuse for meeting Bethany. "Thursday works fine," she said. "I'll probably work late that night anyway." The Jacobson anniversary party is this weekend. Roland's eyes lit up with interest. The Jacobson party? That's the big one you've been planning for months, right? The one with the $8,000 budget. Gloria nodded, watching as Roland mentally filed away this information to share with Bethany later. Yeah, it's my biggest event this quarter. Mrs. Jacobson wants everything perfect for their 25th anniversary. That's great, babe. You work so hard, you deserve big clients like that. The false sincerity in his voice made Gloria sick, but she smiled and nodded. Let him think she was still the naive, trusting wife he could manipulate. It would make her eventual revenge so much sweeter. After dinner, while Roland was watching TV, Gloria sat at her computer and started researching divorce lawyers. She wasn't ready to file, yet she wanted to catch them in the act first, wanted to expose them publicly before she started legal proceedings. But she wanted to be prepared. She also started a new project, documenting everything valuable in their house. If Roland had been stealing money from their accounts, she needed to make sure he couldn't steal their assets too. She photographed jewelry, electronics, important documents, anything that could be easily moved or hidden. Gloria had built her catering business from nothing through careful planning and attention to detail. Now she was going to use those same skills to plan Roland and Bethany's destruction. They thought they were so clever, so careful, so much smarter than sweet, trusting Gloria. They had no idea what was coming for them. Tuesday afternoon, while Roland was at work and thought Gloria was catering a corporate lunch, she drove to the Department of Business Services downtown. A public record search revealed that Bethany had filed paperwork to start a catering business called Elegant Events by Beth, just 3 weeks ago. The business registration listed Bethany's home address and included a detailed description of services that were almost identical to Gloria's company, Patterson's Perfect Parties. Even the logo design that Bethany had submitted looked suspiciously similar to Gloria's branding. Gloria paid for copies of all the documents and sat in her car reading through them. Bethany's business plan was ambitious. She intended to target the same upscale clients that Gloria served, using the same menu options and pricing strategy. But thanks to Roland's inside information, Bethany planned to undercut Gloria's prices by just enough to steal her clients. The most infuriating part was the business loan application. Bethany had applied for $25,000 in startup funding, using her knowledge of Gloria's financial success as proof that the catering market was lucrative. She had literally used Gloria's accomplishments to secure money to destroy Gloria's business. Gloria drove to the bank where Bethany had applied for the loan. As a business owner herself, she knew the loan officer, Patricia Williams. Gloria, what brings you here today? Actually, I wanted to ask you about something confidential. My Aunt Bethany Mitchell applied for a business loan here recently. I'm concerned she might be planning something that could affect my business. Patricia's expression grew serious. I can't discuss specific loan applications, but I can tell you that if you have concerns about potential trademark infringement or business competition issues, you should document everything and possibly speak with a lawyer. Has she mentioned me or my business in any of her applications? Patricia hesitated, then said carefully, let me just say that if I were you, I would protect my business interests very carefully. That's all I can tell you. That was enough. Bethany had definitely been using Gloria's information and reputation to secure funding for her competing business. Gloria's next stop was her own business attorney, Robert Chin. She had used him when she first incorporated Patterson's Perfect Parties, and she trusted him completely. Gloria, this is concerning, Robert said after reviewing the documents she brought. Your aunt appears to be planning a business that could be considered trademark infringement. And if she's using confidential information about your clients and pricing, that could be grounds for a lawsuit. What should I do? Document everything. Get proof that she has access to your confidential business information. If you can prove that someone in your household has been sharing your trade secrets with her, you have a very strong case. Gloria felt a grim satisfaction. Not only could she destroy Roland and Bethany's relationship, but she could probably destroy Bethany's business plans too. That evening, Gloria tested her theory. She casually mentioned to Roland that she was worried about competition in the catering market. Oh, what kind of competition? Roland asked, looking up from his phone. I heard someone else in town is starting a catering business. I'm worried they might try to steal my clients. Roland's expression was carefully neutral, but Gloria caught the flash of guilt in his eyes. Well, there's room for more than one caterer in town, right? Your business is so successful, I'm sure you don't have anything to worry about. I suppose. It's just that this market is so relationship-based. If someone had inside information about my clients and pricing, they could really hurt my business. Inside information? Who would have access to that? Roland asked, and Gloria could hear the forced casualness in his voice. Oh, just me really. And you, since we discuss my work at home. But you'd never share that information with anyone, right? Of course not, Roland said quickly. I would never do anything to hurt your business. Gloria nodded and smiled. I know. I trust you completely. The look of guilt that flashed across Roland's face was almost comical. Almost. Later that night, after Roland was asleep, Gloria checked his email again. Sure enough, there was a new message to Bethany. From Roland Patterson. To Bethany Mitchell. Subject, FY. Gloria's getting paranoid about competition. We need to be more careful about how we discuss your business plans. Maybe we should wait a few months before you officially launch. From Bethany Mitchell. To Roland Patterson. Subject, FY. Don't worry so much. Gloria trusts me completely. She would never suspect her own aunt of trying to steal her business. By the time she figures out what's happening, I'll already have half her clients. Gloria printed the emails and added them to her growing evidence file. Bethany's arrogance was breathtaking. She really believed that family loyalty would protect her from consequences. But the emails also revealed something else interesting. Bethany had already started approaching Gloria's clients. The message mentioned 3 specific events that Bethany had offered to cater for 20% less than Gloria's quoted price. Gloria checked her client database and found the 3 events Bethany had mentioned. All 3 clients had recently called to postpone their events indefinitely. At the time, Gloria had been disappointed but understanding. Now she realized that Bethany had stolen those clients using information that Roland had given her. The financial damage was already starting. Those 3 events would have brought in $6,500 in revenue. Bethany had cost Gloria money and she was just getting started. Gloria sat back in her chair and smiled coldly. She had been planning to expose Roland and Bethany's affair to humiliate them. But now she had a better idea. She was going to destroy them financially and professionally too. It was time to start setting traps. Wednesday morning, Gloria decided it was time to understand just how deep the family manipulation went. She called her cousin Rita and suggested they meet for coffee to discuss Tyler's graduation party. I noticed Bethany missed another family event, Gloria said carefully as they sat in the local coffee shop. I'm getting worried about her health. Rita sighed and stirred her latte. Honestly, Gloria, I think something else is going on with Bethany. The headaches are just an excuse. What do you mean? Well, she never used to miss family stuff before this year. And when she does come to things, she seems distracted. Always checking her phone, leaving early. Last month at Mom's birthday dinner, she kept asking questions about your work schedule. Gloria's pulse quickened. What kind of questions? Weird stuff. Like when your busy season was, what days you worked late, whether Roland ever helped with your events. I thought maybe she was just trying to be supportive, but it felt more like she was gathering information. Information about what? Rita leaned forward and lowered her voice. Gloria, I think Bethany might be jealous of your success. She kept making comments about how easy catering looks, how much money you probably make, how lucky you are to have a supportive husband. Gloria felt sick. Bethany had been using family gatherings to research Gloria's life, looking for weaknesses to exploit and opportunities to steal. Did she say anything specific about Roland? Actually, yes. She asked if he ever got tired of you working so much, if he felt neglected. I told her that wasn't any of her business, but she just laughed and said she was worried about you both. The manipulation was even more extensive than Gloria had realized. Bethany hadn't just been avoiding family events to hide her affair, she had been using the events she did attend to gather intelligence and plant seeds of doubt about Gloria's marriage. Rita, did Bethany ever ask you about my clients? My business practices. Now that you mention it, yeah. She wanted to know how you found new clients, what you charge for different types of events. She said she had a friend who was thinking about starting a catering business. Gloria's hands tightened around her coffee cup. When did these conversations start? Probably around March or April. What? Is something wrong? Gloria forced herself to smile. No, just curious. You know how family is always interested in each other's lives. But as she drove home, Gloria's mind was spinning. March was exactly when Roland's secret expenses had started, when the mysterious withdrawals and hotel charges had begun appearing. Bethany had been planning this for months, carefully gathering information while pretending to be a loving, concerned aunt. That evening, Gloria decided to test how far the manipulation went. She called her mother. Mom, can I ask you something? Has Bethany said anything to you about my marriage? What do you mean, sweetie? I don't know, just, Has she expressed any concerns about Roland and me? Her mother was quiet for a moment. Well, she has mentioned that you seem to work a lot. She worries that you might be putting too much pressure on yourself. What else has she said? She thinks maybe Roland feels a little neglected sometimes. She suggested that you might want to make more time for your marriage. Gloria felt her blood pressure rising. Bethany had been poisoning her own mother against her, making it seem like Gloria was neglecting her husband when the truth was that Roland was cheating with Bethany herself. Did she suggest any specific ways I should make more time for Roland? She thought maybe you could cut back on weekend events, spend more time at family gatherings. She said Roland mentioned that he misses spending time with family. The irony was staggering. Bethany was encouraging Gloria to spend more time at family events that Bethany herself was skipping to be with Roland. She was literally trying to manipulate Gloria into being in the wrong place at the wrong time. Mom, did Bethany ever ask you to invite Roland to family events without me? Another pause. Once or twice. She said maybe the men should have their own time together, that you might enjoy having a quiet evening at home after working so hard. Gloria closed her eyes and counted to 10. Bethany had been trying to create opportunities to be alone with Roland at family gatherings, positioning it as being considerate of Gloria's busy schedule. After she hung up, Gloria sat in her car and tried to process the full scope of what she had discovered. This wasn't just an affair, it was a calculated campaign to isolate her, steal from her, and destroy her business. Bethany had been working on multiple fronts, manipulating family members to believe Gloria was neglecting Roland, gathering business intelligence to steal Gloria's clients, creating opportunities for secret meetings with Roland, positioning herself as the caring, available alternative to the workaholic wife. Every family interaction over the past 8 months had been contaminated by Bethany's agenda. Every expression of concern, every piece of advice, every suggestion had been designed to benefit Bethany's affair and business plans. Gloria thought about all the time she had defended Bethany to family members who noticed her absences. All the time she had covered for Roland when he missed events. She had been unknowingly helping them maintain their deception while they systematically undermined her. But now Gloria understood the full picture, and that gave her power. Bethany and Roland thought they were so clever, so careful in their manipulation. They had no idea that their victim was now documenting every lie, every theft, every betrayal. Gloria smiled grimly as she started her car. Tomorrow was Thursday, Roland's fake guys' night with Mike. Which meant tomorrow night, Gloria would finally catch them in the act. Thursday morning, Gloria told Roland she had a last-minute catering consultation that evening and might not be home until late. She watched his face light up with barely concealed excitement. That's fine, babe. I'll just hang out with Mike, maybe grab some dinner after the game. Sounds perfect. I'll probably be exhausted when I get home anyway. Gloria spent the day preparing for what she knew would be the most difficult evening of her life. She charged her phone's camera, made sure her car had enough gas, and mentally rehearsed what she would do when she caught them together. At 6 p.m., Roland left the house with a casual kiss goodbye. Gloria waited 15 minutes, then followed the route she knew he would take to Bethany's house. She parked across the street from Bethany's duplex, hidden behind a large oak tree that gave her a clear view of the front door. At 6:45, Roland's car pulled into Bethany's driveway. Gloria watched her husband of 20 years walk up to her aunt's front door like he belonged there. Bethany opened the door before he could knock, and they embraced passionately on the doorstep. Gloria's hands shook as she took photos, but she forced herself to keep clicking. This was evidence. This was proof of their betrayal, documented in a way that couldn't be denied or explained away. Through Bethany's living room window, Gloria could see them moving around the house. They were comfortable together, familiar with each other's space. This wasn't a new relationship, it was an established routine. At 7:30, they emerged again, now dressed up for what was obviously a dinner date. Gloria followed them to Chez Laurent, the most expensive French restaurant in town. Through the restaurant's front window, she watched them hold hands across the table, saw Roland feed Bethany bites of dessert, witnessed the intimate way they looked at each other. The scene was both heartbreaking and infuriating. This was how Roland had acted with Gloria during their courtship 21 years ago. Now he was recreating those romantic moments with her aunt, using the same gestures and expressions that had once been reserved for his wife. Gloria took more photos from the parking lot, capturing clear images of their faces, their intimate body language, the expensive bottle of wine Roland had ordered. She made note of the time, the location, the obvious romantic nature of their evening. At 9:15 they returned to Bethany's house. Gloria waited in her car, taking photos as they walked to the front door together. Roland didn't leave. The lights in Bethany's bedroom came on, and Gloria knew she had seen enough. She drove home with tears streaming down her face, but also with a sense of grim satisfaction. She finally had irrefutable proof of the affair. Photos, dates, locations, witnesses at the restaurant who had seen them together. But Gloria wasn't done gathering evidence. She spent Friday morning creating a comprehensive timeline of the affair, cross-referencing Roland's lies with bank statements, credit card charges, and Bethany's convenient absences from family events. The pattern was crystal clear. February 14th. First suspicious charge at an expensive restaurant. Same day Bethany missed Valentine's family dinner with a headache. March 3rd. Hotel charge for $347. Same weekend Bethany was supposedly out of town visiting a friend. March 15th. Large cash withdrawal from their savings. Same day Roland claimed to have emergency car repairs. April 22nd. Jewelry purchase at Tiffany's. Same week Bethany started wearing a new diamond necklace she claimed was a treat to herself. Every lie had a paper trail. Every deception left evidence. Gloria had built an airtight case that would be impossible for them to deny. But she still wasn't ready to confront them. She wanted more than just proof of the affair. She wanted to catch them in the act of planning to destroy her business. Friday evening, Gloria set up a recording app on her phone and placed it in Roland's home office, hidden behind some books. If he was going to call Bethany to discuss stealing her clients, she would have proof of that conspiracy too. Her patience was rewarded Saturday morning when she listened to the recording. Roland had called Bethany around 11 p.m. Friday night. The Jacobson anniversary party is this Sunday. Gloria's been planning it for months. It's worth $8,000. Perfect, Bethany's voice came through clearly. I'll call Mrs. Jacobson tomorrow morning and tell her about my new business. If I offer to do the same event for $6,000, she might be willing to switch. What if she says it's too late to change caterers? I'll tell her that Gloria's been having health problems and might not be reliable. Plant some doubt about whether she can handle such a big event. Gloria's hands clenched into fists as she listened to them plan to sabotage her biggest event of the month. They weren't just stealing her money and betraying her trust, they were actively trying to destroy her reputation and livelihood. The recording continued with more damning evidence. Bethany had already contacted 3 of Gloria's regular clients, using information that Roland had provided about their personal preferences and budget constraints. She had successfully stolen the Morrison family reunion catering job by offering to provide the same menu for $200 less than Gloria's quote. By Saturday afternoon, Gloria had everything she needed: photos of the affair, financial records of their theft, emails proving their conspiracy to steal her business, and recorded conversations planning to sabotage her reputation. She spent the weekend organizing all the evidence into a comprehensive file. Bank statements, credit card records, photos, emails, recordings, witness statements from family members. It was an overwhelming case that painted a clear picture of calculated betrayal and fraud. Gloria also spent time preparing for the confrontation itself. She researched the best divorce attorneys in town, calculated the value of all their shared assets, and made copies of every important document. She opened her own bank account at a different institution and started moving her business income there. Most importantly, she planned the perfect venue for her revenge. It needed to be public enough that Roland and Bethany couldn't deny what had happened, but controlled enough that Gloria could present her evidence methodically. She decided on her mother's 65th birthday party, scheduled for the following Saturday. Every important family member would be there, including the cousins and aunts who had been manipulated by Bethany's lies. It would be the perfect audience for the truth. Gloria smiled as she sealed the evidence files in protective folders. Roland and Bethany thought they were so smart, so careful, so far ahead of naive, trusting Gloria. They had no idea that their victim had become their judge, jury, and executioner. The week leading up to her mother's birthday party, Gloria moved through her life like an actress playing a role. She smiled at Roland's lies, accepted his fake affection, and even helped him pick out a gift for her mother. All while secretly recording their conversations and documenting his continued theft from their accounts. Roland had withdrawn another $600 on Tuesday, claiming he needed cash for a work lunch. Gloria followed him to the jewelry store where he bought Bethany an expensive bracelet, probably an early birthday present, since Bethany's birthday was the following month. Meanwhile, Gloria was making her own preparations. She hired a private investigator to officially document Roland and Bethany's activities, creating a paper trail that would hold up in court. She also met with her divorce attorney again, filing preliminary paperwork that would be ready to submit the moment she needed it. On Thursday, Bethany called to confirm she would be at the birthday party. I wouldn't miss Mom's 65th for anything, she said sweetly. I'm even bringing a special surprise. Gloria bet she was. Bethany probably planned to arrive with Roland's expensive bracelet, claiming she had bought it for herself or received it from some mysterious admirer. That's wonderful, Aunt Beth. Mom will be so happy to have everyone there. Speaking of everyone, is Roland coming? I know he's been busy with work lately. The casual way Bethany asked about Roland made Gloria's skin crawl. She was fishing for information about whether she and Roland could sit together, whether they could continue their charade of being nothing more than in-laws. Of course he'll be there. He's been looking forward to it all week. Great. It'll be nice to see him. We haven't talked in so long. That was rich, considering Gloria had recordings of them talking for hours just 2 days ago, planning which of Gloria's clients to target next. Friday evening, Gloria made her final preparations. She organized all her evidence into clear, labeled folders. Photos of Roland and Bethany together went into one folder, financial documents showing their theft went into another, and recordings of their business conspiracy went into a third. She also prepared a presentation on her laptop, complete with a timeline of the affair and screenshots of their most damaging emails. If she was going to destroy them publicly, she wanted to do it thoroughly and professionally. That night, Roland came home with flowers again, cheap grocery store roses, clearly an afterthought. Just thought my beautiful wife deserved something special before the big party tomorrow, he said, kissing her cheek. Gloria accepted the flowers with a smile. That's sweet. I'm excited for tomorrow. It'll be so nice to have the whole family together. Yeah, it's been too long since we've all been in the same place. The irony of that statement was perfect. Yes, it had been too long since Roland and Bethany had been in the same room with Gloria and the rest of the family. Tomorrow, everyone would finally understand why. Saturday morning, Gloria got ready for the party with unusual care. She chose a navy blue dress that made her look professional and confident, styled her hair elegantly, and put on the diamond earrings Roland had given her for their 15th wedding anniversary back when his gifts had actually been for her. She packed her evidence folders in a large purse and loaded the presentation onto a flash drive. She also brought a portable speaker, knowing she might need to play the recorded conversations for everyone to hear. The party was being held at the community center where Tyler's graduation celebration had taken place. Gloria arrived early to help her mother set up, and to position herself strategically for what was about to happen. You look beautiful today, sweetheart, her mother said, adjusting the decorations on the main table. That dress is perfect on you. Thank you, Mom. I wanted to look special for your big day. Gloria's sister Denise was busy arranging flowers when she looked up with concern. Gloria, you seem different today. Kind of intense. Is everything okay? Everything's perfect, Denise. In fact, I think today is going to be a day nobody in our family ever forgets. Family members started arriving around 2 p.m. Gloria greeted each one warmly, making mental notes of who was there. Rita, Uncle Jerome, cousins Marie and Kevin, family friends, and neighbors, everyone who had been manipulated by Bethany's lies over the past 8 months. Roland arrived at 2:30, looking handsome in the navy suit Gloria had helped him pick out. He kissed her hello and mingled with the family, playing the role of devoted husband perfectly. Bethany arrived fashionably late at 3 p.m., wearing a stunning red dress and the bracelet Roland had bought her 2 days ago. She hugged Gloria warmly, the same affectionate embrace she had given her for 20 years, all while wearing jewelry purchased with stolen money. Happy birthday, Mom, Bethany said, presenting their mother with an expensive gift basket. I know how much you love those gourmet chocolates. Gloria watched Roland's face as Bethany hugged their mother. His expression was tender, proud, like he was watching his real wife interact with his family. The casual intimacy between them was obvious now that Gloria knew what to look for. At 3:30, Gloria's mother called everyone together for the traditional birthday toast. This was the moment Gloria had been waiting for. Before we toast Mom, Gloria announced, standing up with her purse full of evidence, I have something important to share with the family. Something everyone needs to know. The room fell silent. Gloria could see confusion on some faces, worry on others. Roland looked puzzled and Bethany looked slightly nervous but still confident. Gloria smiled at both of them and opened her first evidence folder. It's time for some truth in this family. Gloria stood in front of her family, looking directly at Roland and Bethany as she opened the first folder. The room was completely silent, everyone sensing that something significant was about to happen. 8 months ago, my marriage and my family were destroyed by 2 people I trusted more than anyone else in the world, Gloria began, her voice steady and clear. Today, I'm going to show you exactly what they've been doing behind my back. She pulled out the first photograph: Roland and Bethany kissing passionately in the parking lot of the Riverside Mall. "This is my husband Roland and my Aunt Bethany, taken last Thursday at 11:47 a.m. Roland told me he was at work. Bethany told everyone she was too sick with a headache to come to Tyler's graduation party." Gasps echoed around the room. Gloria's mother dropped her coffee cup, and it shattered on the floor. Roland's face went white, while Bethany looked like she was about to be sick. "Gloria, wait," Roland started to say, but Gloria held up her hand. "No, Roland. You've done enough talking. For 8 months, you've been lying to me, stealing from me, and sleeping with my aunt. Now it's my turn to talk." She pulled out more photos, laying them on the table for everyone to see. Roland and Bethany at dinner, holding hands. Roland buying Bethany jewelry. Bethany wearing the expensive bracelet to this very party. These photos were taken over the past 2 weeks, but the affair has been going on since February. I have bank records showing that Roland has stolen nearly $13,000 from our joint accounts to pay for hotel rooms, expensive dinners, and gifts for Bethany. Gloria's sister Denise stood up, staring at the photos in shock. "Bethany, is this true?" Bethany's mouth opened and closed, but no words came out. She looked at Roland desperately, but he was staring at the floor. "It gets worse," Gloria continued, pulling out printouts of their emails. "They haven't just been having an affair. They've been conspiring to steal my clients and destroy my business." She read several of the most damning emails aloud, including the ones where they mocked Gloria's trusting nature and planned to undercut her prices. The room erupted in angry murmurs as family members realized the scope of the betrayal. Uncle Jerome stepped forward, his face red with anger. "Bethany, you were supposed to be Gloria's family. How could you do this?" "And the manipulation goes even deeper," Gloria said, pulling out her notes from conversations with family members. "Bethany has been lying to all of you, making you think I was neglecting Roland, that I was too focused on work to be a good wife. She convinced Mom that Roland felt neglected. She told Rita that she was worried about my marriage." Gloria's mother found her voice, looking at Bethany with hurt and confusion. "You told me Gloria wasn't taking care of her husband properly. You said she needed to spend less time working and more time with Roland. All while she was sleeping with Roland herself," Gloria said. "She was manipulating our entire family to create opportunities for their affair and to make me look like the problem in my marriage." The room exploded in angry voices. Family members who had defended Bethany's absences from events now realized they had been protecting her lies. Cousins who had listened to her concerns about Gloria's work habits understood they had been manipulated. But Gloria wasn't finished. She pulled out her phone and connected it to the portable speaker she had brought. "I also have recordings of them planning to sabotage my business. This conversation took place last Friday night." She played the recording where Roland and Bethany discussed stealing the Jacobson anniversary party and spreading lies about Gloria's reliability. The room fell silent again as everyone heard their voices clearly plotting against Gloria's livelihood. When the recording ended, Rita spoke up, her voice shaking with anger. "They were going to destroy your reputation. Your business that you built from nothing." "That's exactly right," Gloria said. "But here's the beautiful part: none of their plans worked. Mrs. Jacobson's anniversary party was a huge success last Sunday. My business is stronger than ever. And now everyone knows exactly who they really are." She turned to face Roland and Bethany directly. "You thought I was stupid, didn't you? Sweet, trusting Gloria who would never suspect her loving husband and devoted aunt. You used my love for both of you as a weapon against me." Bethany finally found her voice, tears streaming down her face. "Gloria, please let me explain." "Explain what?" Gloria's voice rose for the first time. "Explain how you sat at my kitchen table for months, listening to me talk about my marriage problems, giving me advice about my relationship, all while you were sleeping with my husband? Explain how you used information I shared with you in confidence to steal my clients." She pulled out financial statements showing the money Roland had stolen. "Explain how you let Roland spend our retirement savings, our kitchen renovation fund, our emergency money on your affair? Explain how you were planning to destroy the business I've spent 15 years building." The room was completely silent except for Bethany's sobs. Roland still hadn't said a word, hadn't tried to defend himself or apologize. Gloria's mother stood up slowly, looking at Bethany with profound disappointment. "You're my daughter, Bethany. I raised you, I trusted you, I loved you like my own child. How could you betray Gloria like this? How could you betray our entire family?" "Mom," Bethany started, but Helen held up her hand. "Don't call me Mom anymore. You lost that right when you decided to destroy my daughter's life." Gloria felt a surge of love for her mother, but she had one more revelation to share. She pulled out the business registration documents for Elegant Events by Beth. And just so everyone understands the full scope of their plans, Bethany has already filed paperwork to start a competing catering business using information she stole from me. She's received a $25,000 loan based on my company's success, planning to undercut my prices and steal my clients. Uncle Jerome looked at the business documents with disgust. This is fraud, Bethany. You could go to prison for this. She might, Gloria agreed. I've turned all of this evidence over to my attorney and the police. The theft, the conspiracy, the fraud, it's all documented and reported. For the first time, Roland looked up with panic in his eyes. Gloria, please. We can work this out. We can go to counseling, We. Gloria laughed bitterly. There is no we anymore, Roland. There hasn't been a we since February when you decided to destroy our marriage. The divorce papers will be filed Monday morning. She looked around the room at her family, people who had loved and supported her, people who had been manipulated and lied to by two people they trusted. I'm sorry you all had to hear this today, especially at Mom's birthday party, but I needed everyone to know the truth. For months, you've been hearing lies about me, concerns about my marriage, questions about my priorities. Now you know where those lies came from. Gloria packed her evidence back into the folders and picked up her purse. Enjoy the rest of the party. I have a business to run and a new life to build. As she walked toward the door, she could hear the angry voices of her family members confronting Roland and Bethany. She could hear her mother crying, her sister demanding answers, her cousins expressing their disgust and betrayal. But Gloria didn't look back. She had said everything she needed to say. The truth was finally out, and her revenge was complete. Now it was time for the next chapter of her life to begin. 6 months later, Gloria sat in her newly renovated kitchen office, reviewing the financial reports that showed her catering business had grown by 40% since her divorce. The kitchen renovation she had dreamed of was finally complete, paid for entirely with her own money and the settlement she had received from Roland. The divorce had been swift and decisive. With all the evidence Gloria had gathered, Roland's attorney had advised him not to contest anything. Gloria kept the house, the business, and most of their assets. Roland was ordered to pay back every penny he had stolen, plus damages for the attempted sabotage of her business. Her phone rang, interrupting her thoughts. It was her attorney, Robert Chin, with an update on the other legal proceedings. Good news, Gloria. Bethany's business loan has been revoked, and the bank is pursuing fraud charges. She's also being investigated for attempted trademark infringement and theft of trade secrets. Gloria smiled. What about her catering business? Never got off the ground. Word spread pretty quickly through the industry about what she tried to do to you. No vendors would work with her, no venues would book her events. She's been blacklisted. The professional consequences had been even more satisfying than the legal ones. The catering and event planning community in their city was small and tight-knit. When Gloria's story spread about a successful businesswoman betrayed by her husband and aunt who tried to steal her clients, the industry had rallied around her. Gloria had gained 3 new high-end clients in the past month alone, all of whom had specifically sought her out because they admired how she had handled the situation. Her reputation for professionalism and integrity had actually been enhanced by the ordeal. The personal consequences for Roland and Bethany had been equally devastating. Roland was living in a small apartment across town, working overtime to pay the court-ordered restitution. His reputation at work had been damaged when word spread about his theft and affair. Several mutual friends had cut contact with him entirely. Bethany had fared even worse. She had been essentially excommunicated from the family. Gloria's mother had changed her will to remove Bethany entirely. Family events happened without her, and those who had once defended her absences now understood they had been manipulated by her lies. The final blow had come when Bethany tried to move to a different city for a fresh start, only to discover that her former employer had given her a terrible reference, mentioning the fraud investigation and ethical concerns. Gloria's assistant Monica knocked on the office door, bringing in the mail and a cup of coffee. The Henderson family wants to book you for their daughter's wedding next spring, Monica said, setting down a thick envelope. And there's a personal letter here for you. Gloria opened the personal letter and immediately recognized Bethany's handwriting. Her aunt had written a 5-page letter begging for forgiveness, claiming she had been manipulated by Roland, insisting that the affair meant nothing and had been a terrible mistake. The letter was full of excuses and justifications, painting Bethany as a victim of Roland's persuasion rather than an equal partner in the betrayal. She begged Gloria to give her another chance, to remember all the good times they had shared, to consider family loyalty. Gloria read the entire letter, then fed it into her paper shredder without a second thought. Some betrayals were too complete for forgiveness, and some trust could never be rebuilt. Her mother had struggled with cutting Bethany out of her life, torn between her love for both daughters. But over time, as the full extent of Bethany's manipulation became clear, Helen had found peace with her decision. "She didn't just betray you," her mother had said recently. "She betrayed all of us. She used our love for her as a weapon against our love for you." The family dynamics had actually improved in Bethany's absence. Without her subtle manipulations and planted doubts, family gatherings were warmer and more genuine. Gloria's relationship with her mother and sister had grown stronger, built on a foundation of complete honesty. Even professionally, Gloria had discovered benefits she hadn't expected. Several of her clients had mentioned how impressed they were with her strength and integrity during the divorce. She had handled the crisis with such grace and professionalism that it had actually enhanced her reputation in the community. The phone rang again, and this time it was Mrs. Jacobson, the client whose anniversary party Bethany had tried to steal. "Gloria, I just wanted to thank you again for that wonderful anniversary celebration. My husband and I have been recommending you to everyone we know. In fact, I have 3 friends who want to meet with you about their upcoming events." "That's wonderful, Mrs. Jacobson. I'd be happy to meet with them. I also wanted you to know that someone called me a few months ago trying to convince me to switch caterers. She claimed you were unreliable and might not be able to handle my event properly. I didn't believe her for a second. Your professionalism speaks for itself, but I thought you should know." Gloria smiled. Even Bethany's attempts to sabotage her reputation had backfired, serving only to demonstrate Gloria's integrity to her clients. After hanging up, Gloria walked through her beautiful new kitchen, admiring the granite countertops and professional-grade appliances she had installed with her settlement money. This space was entirely hers, paid for with her own success and free from the contamination of stolen funds. She had been dreaming of this renovation for years, saving money and planning every detail. Now it was complete, and it felt like a symbol of her new life built on her own terms, funded by her own work, designed to serve her own dreams. That evening, Gloria hosted a small dinner party for her family. Her mother, sister, and several cousins gathered around her new dining table, enjoying a meal Gloria had prepared herself. The conversation was easy and genuine, free from the undercurrents of manipulation that had poisoned so many previous gatherings. "I'm proud of you," her mother said as they cleaned up after dinner. "The way you handled everything, it took real strength." "I learned something important," Gloria replied. "Being trusting and loving doesn't mean you have to be naive. I can still believe the best in people while protecting myself from those who would take advantage." Her sister Denise nodded. "You've inspired all of us. The way you planned everything, gathered your evidence, made sure justice was served was like watching a masterclass in standing up for yourself." As her family left that evening, Gloria stood in her kitchen doorway watching their car lights disappear down the street. 6 months ago, she had felt completely alone and betrayed. Tonight, she felt surrounded by love and support from people who truly valued her. Her business was thriving, her home was beautiful, and her relationships were built on genuine foundations. She had lost a husband who never truly loved her and an aunt who had been willing to destroy her for personal gain. In return, she had gained something far more valuable: complete control over her own life. Gloria poured herself a glass of wine and sat on her back porch, looking up at the stars. Tomorrow she had 3 client consultations, a wedding to plan, and a future to build. She had never been happier or more confident in her life. Roland and Bethany had thought they were so clever, so careful in their betrayal. They had underestimated the quiet strength of the woman they had chosen to deceive. Now they knew better. And Gloria Patterson, successful businesswoman, beloved family member, and survivor, was just getting started.